Kansans caregiving for a loved one with dementia. And we've got some information for anglers in the Show Me State ahead of fishing season. KOAM News at 10 is next. Now at 10, authorities in southwest Missouri bring charges against a woman in a fatal DWI crash from Christmas Eve. Plus, a new program is launched to help support Kansans caregiving for a loved one with Alzheimer's or related dementia. And the Bourbon County community turns out for a good cause and some good food.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A Grove, Oklahoma woman is behind bars, facing charges in southwest Missouri for a fatal DWI crash on Christmas Eve. This is KOAM News at 10. I'm Tanya Bach. Earlier this month, the Jasper County Prosecutor's Office filed charges against Jennifer Maupin, including felony DWI, causing the death of another, and careless and imprudent driving. Maupin also faces outstanding charges in Oklahoma. The latest charges stem from a fatal crash on December 24th on Missouri 59, just south of Carthage, which took the life of a Sarcoxy man. Maupin was also injured in the crash. She was initially arrested and then released to seek medical care. Once prosecutors filed official charges, a judge issued a warrant for Maupin's arrest. And last night, Maupin was located in Marionville, Missouri, and booked into the Lawrence County Jail. McDonald County prosecutors have amended charges against a former high school custodian after a camera was found in the girls' locker room. After analyzing all of the evidence from the scene and the defendant, Roger Copeland's home, prosecutors amended charges to 5 counts of Class E felony invasion of privacy. Now, if found guilty, Copeland could spend time in a state prison. He would also have to register as a sex offender. Authorities arrest an Independence, Kansas man in connection with the July 2024 shooting incident following a months-long sealed case. Charles Riley Defabaugh III was taken into custody today after a warrant issued in August of 2024 was returned. According to court documents, Defabaugh allegedly fired a gun at a man with intent to kill, wounding the victim. He also reportedly shot at an occupied vehicle. Defabaugh now faces multiple charges, including attempted first-degree murder. The Montgomery County Attorney's Office sealed the case upon filing formal charges on August 19th of 2024, keeping it closed until Defabaugh's arrest. Well, Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy joins us now with a first look at weather.
Well, of course, a beautiful Tuesday for us today. Temperatures fantastic, record highs across the region, all the way up to 76 just 4 days ago. 4 to 5 days ago, we were setting record lows, so we've swung. In fact, if you go back to last Thursday morning, we were about -9, so we've had an 85-degree swing over the past 4 or 5 days. Average highs 53, record was 75, set back in 1981 before we broke it. Today, 59 in Joplin, 57 in Pittsburgh. So temperature is still pretty good, upper 50s to near 60. We do have clouds thickening up, and we have a weak wave, which is going to push through. You can see some scattered showers, even a couple little thunderstorms, northern parts of Kansas. For us, we're mainly going to get some clouds, but we could get a couple random showers in here tomorrow. We're going to look at that here in a bit.
All right. Thanks, Doug. Potholes are more likely to appear after a big snow, making them a common hazard this time of year. They can cost you hundreds of dollars in repair, but there's one thing you can do now to minimize that risk. Check your spare tire. According to AAA, more than 1,400 Kansas drivers needed a tow because they did not have a usable spare. Well, Kansans who are caregivers of a loved one with Alzheimer's or related dementia will now have access to more support, and the SEK Area Agency on Aging can help people get connected to this program. The Kansas Respite for Alzheimer's and Dementia program offers temporary substitute support like in-home respite care, including personal care and institutional respite by placing the care recipient in a nursing home. For caregivers, the battle against dementia can be tough.
Dementia's, that it's a hard, long battle a lot of times, and there is a lot of grief that goes along with caring for someone with dementia.
To be eligible, the caregiver must live in the same home as the care recipient, but an exception can be requested through the Kansas Department for Aging and Disability Services. Well, today, Bourbon County Emergency Services came together to support one of their own at a chili feed benefit during the Fort Scott High School basketball game. First responders were serving chili, Frito chili pie, hot dogs, and more. All proceeds help Sarah Long, a public safety dispatcher, and her 8-year-old son, Jareth, who is undergoing cancer treatment after surgery to remove a kidney.
It's just absolutely amazing. When my coworkers started putting this together, I had no idea they were putting it together, first of all. And they just came together so quickly, and it really makes you feel loved.
Jareth is being treated at Children's Mercy. On February 6th, he underwent surgery to have his right kidney removed. Well, young poets brought a strong voice to the Harry M. Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex in Joplin today. High school competitors brought their best vocal presentation to the Poetry Out Loud Regionals, a national poetry competition designed to improve public speaking skills, help build confidence, and teach the kids about literary history and contemporary life.
Students really work with their teachers to understand the poem and be able to recite it with the knowledge of what the poem is about. And so we have judges here that will judge them on a specific rubric that has been, developed by Poetry Out Loud.
The competition was free and open to the public. Community members in Carl Junction taking an open house forum to discuss the future of the city. That story is coming up. And members of another Missouri community voiced their frustrations during a town hall meeting. Community members joined together to discuss the future of Carl Junction. Dozens gathered at the Carl Junction Community Center to pitch ideas and learn more about possible plans for facilities in the city. Representatives from SAP Design Architects, Algier Martin and Associates, and city staff were on hand to collect comments, many in the form of sticky notes. Now, some of the topics of discussion include improvements to CJ's Parks and Trails, the Frank Dean Sports Complex, and water, sewer, and stormwater projects.
What's really amazing about Carl Junction, like tonight, was how many community members did come out. That's a real good measure of how much the community is involved and how much they want to really see betterment in their town.
SAP Design Architects have been working with the city since 2008 when they designed the Carl Junction Community Center. Well, Town Hall yesterday morning drew a large crowd frustrated over federal layoffs. Around 150 people packed into a coffee house for the event near Kansas City. It was hosted by Republican Congressman Mark Alford, and it quickly turned into something of a shouting match after he defended the move. Some who showed up were former federal workers whose jobs were cut following President Donald Trump's executive orders aimed at curbing federal spending. Well, President Trump has threatened the jobs of federal workers if they don't comply with an Elon Musk ultimatum. He also announced a new way to gain a path to citizenship that will have a big price tag. Erica Brown reports from the White House.
President Trump signed executive orders at the White House targeting possible tariffs on copper and reviewing security clearances for employees of a law firm who worked with special counsel Jack Smith's team.
Who would like this pen? Hey, why don't you send it to Jack Smith?
Trump then doubled down on Elon Musk's directive to federal employees, asking them to list 5 things they accomplished last week.
And if they don't write back, they end up eventually losing their job.
The White House says more than 1 million workers have already complied, and extensions for those who have not yet responded will be allowed. Some federal employees who were recently laid off took to Capitol Hill to protest the cuts to lawmakers.
We're going to head up to the first office, and you're going to be able to tell your story, and then we're going to go to the next office, and then we'll just keep going on.
In the Oval Office, President Trump also proposed a, quote, route to citizenship in the U.S., a gold card for wealthy individuals with a $5 million price tag.
They'll be wealthy, and they'll be successful, and they'll be spending a lot of money and paying a lot of taxes and employing a lot of people. And we think it's going to be extremely successful.
The administration says applicants will be vetted, and the program will launch in about 2 weeks. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
The U.S. and Ukraine have also tentatively agreed on a deal to hand over revenues of some Ukrainian minerals after President Trump said he wanted payback for American military aid. Well, a little later, reeling in the big one.
Time to pull out that fishing gear. I'm Lonnie Walton at Bud's Bait in Joplin. I spoke to an expert about what you'll need in order to make a successful catch. Stick around, I have the details coming up.
Plus, we're going to cool down a little bit for us tomorrow, but overall looking pretty good. We're going to check it out coming up. Well, of course, an amazing Tuesday for us today. Temperatures all the way up into the mid to upper 70s, record highs across the region. Of course, huge switch from what we saw just a few days ago. Looks pretty good right now. Most of us are still sitting kind of mid to upper 50s. We'll slide back into the 40s later on tonight. But again, overall, we are looking pretty good, way better than what we had last week. Look at the trend. So upper 60s yesterday. We drop back into the 30s, mid 70s for us today. Now we have a cold front that is heading in later on tonight. That means we're going to cool down tomorrow, but we are so far above our average high. This gets us just closer to that mark, and we're still actually going to be above average tomorrow, even though we're going to be 15 degrees cooler. 58 in Stockton, 58 in Neosho, 60 in Miami. Chanute is sitting at 61. Got some clouds kind of skirting through. You can see some showers along our front. Northern parts of Kansas, even a couple little thunderstorms southeast of Omaha. This system doesn't have a lot of moisture to work with, but it will give us clouds. It will most likely give us sprinkles, and even a couple little showers could pop up as it pushes through. But behind this, there's not much going on. So we're pretty quiet besides this little system pushing through this week. All right, by morning, stop at 6 a.m., mostly cloudy, upper 40s to near 50. A couple little spotty showers, a random shower popping up as that front dips through. It's mainly going to be through the region by the noon hour, still near 60. And then with that, a little bit cooler air working in behind it, it will just kind of keep our temperature steady. 60 to about 62 for afternoon highs, mostly cloudy skies. As we go into tomorrow night, by Thursday morning, a little bit colder. We drop back into the mid 30s, but Thursday afternoon looks pretty good. We have the sunshine, light northwesterly wind, and again, our high temps right around 60 degrees by the time we go into Thursday afternoon. And then on Friday, we start out upper 30s, but we end up near 70 during the afternoon. 49 to start, 60 by noon, high temp, 61 on your Thursday, which is still above normal. Let's look at our upper level flow. Here goes that system. Passes by, no big storm systems. We get a weaker system. It moves in as we head into the weekend, the western third of the country. See this little guy? Jumps across Rockies, pushes in, but it gives us rain. Pretty good rain chances, especially the second half of the day on Sunday. This system passes by. We kind of reload another system. So next week, a lot more active. Showers, maybe even some thunderstorms in here late Tuesday night into Wednesday, may even end with a little bit of snow. So a lot to watch as we go through next week. Let's look at the weekend. Saturday, not bad, could be better, mid 50s, but still pretty good. Clouds increase on Sunday, then here go those rain chances increasing, especially as we get into Sunday afternoon. 61s Wednesday and Thursday. Let's go 68 by the time we head into your Friday. So Friday is going to be great. Cooler Saturday and Sunday, but still temperature is pretty good. And then rain chances increasing the first half next week.
Yeah. By then we'll probably want some rain.
We could always use it.
Right now my yard's still a little muddy from all
I
that
know,
snow melting.
so is mine.
All right, thanks Doug. Well, local parks across the 4 states are gearing up for another exciting fishing season, and we decided to get some advice from the Missouri Department of Conservation and Bud's Bait in Joplin on what you need to know for a successful catch. KOAM's Lonnie Walton has the story.
Oh yeah, I've fished since I was a kid.
Dan Weaver is a fish lover from Missouri. He says he was introduced to fishing in Cassville. He says he's never seen anything like it.
There were so many people lining the banks, so I'd never seen fishing quite like that, but I still go down.
If Weaver wants to have a great time fishing, John Tupper, the manager of Bud's Bait in Joplin, says there's a few things he may need.
So those people are going to fish with ultralight, light spinning reels, spinning rod combinations. We'll even have a few people that fly fish, and so we have all the fly fishing stuff also.
Francis Skaleski from the Department of Conservation says you have to know where you can fish when you get there.
When you're buying your trout tag at the park store, if you're unfamiliar with what the zone boundaries are at the park, tell them what type of lure you're going to use, and they can tell you what zone you're going to fish in.
He also says you should know your limits when it comes to certain animals.
Not just fish, whatever you catch, you keep. That's not the way fishing works in Missouri. With most species, there are minimum length limits.
And if you never fished before, no worries. Lindsay says there's plenty of help to go around.
Best way to learn is to go out with somebody who's done it before. And in this part of the state, you won't have to look far.
And for Weaver, he continues to love all the options in Missouri when it comes to fishing.
There's plenty of great places to fish in Missouri. You want to get on natural and walk down the creek, you can do that too.
Reporting in Joplin, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
The Missouri Department of Conservation has already began stocking Roaring River State Park in preparation of opening day this Saturday. Of course, that's according to their Facebook page. Still ahead, Carl Junction High School announces the hirings of 3 new head coaches, and Missouri Southern softball plays its home opener against Drury. John Dales has those stories and more up next in sports.
Hey, welcome into sports. I'm John Dales. Missouri Southern softball is off to a 7-6 start to the 2025 season, and the Lions, they've played all 13 of those contests away from home. Well, today that changes. It's beautiful out in Joplin for Missouri Southern's home opener. Lions host Drury in a doubleheader. Kiki Pickens gets the start in the circle for game 1. She picks up not just 1 but 2 strikeouts in her first inning of work. Then in the second, here's another. However, Drury scores the first run of the game in the second. Bottom 2 now. Lions could use a spark, and they get one here. Easton Walter sends one into right field. That drops down, and she legs out a double, but would get stranded there. Now we go to the third inning. It's 2-0 Drury. Taylor Knuckles hits one sharply into right field. That's a base hit. Bases are loaded at this point, and it's Walters back at the plate. She sends this one to a similar spot, right field again, and it falls again. This time, 3 runs come in to score. Walters coasts into second with another double. That puts the Lions in front 4-2. They don't look back from that point on. Southern wins it 4-3. And the Lions take game 2 of the doubleheader as well. 3-2 the final score in that one. Southern shortstop Taylor Knuckles finishes 2 for 3 with 2 runs batted in. MSSU off until Friday when it plays in the Branson Showtime tournament. Carl Junction High School announces today that 3 of its varsity sports programs will have new head coaches for the 2025-26 school year. Nate Lowen will be the boys soccer head coach. He's been an assistant for both the boys and girls soccer programs at CJ for the past 5 years. Braden Webb, she's the new volleyball head coach, and she was also an all-state player at CJ as a student athlete as part of the 2013 state runner-up team, along with being named Class 4 Assistant Coach of the Year. That was last season with the Bulldogs. Then Glenn Helms, he's the new girls soccer head coach and has over a decade of experience as an assistant at CJ and with local club teams. Now we move over to Kansas High School basketball, and it's the second night in a row that we've got a top 10 matchup between a couple of our local teams. Girard girls basketball, ranked 7th in 3A, goes on the road, takes down Colgan, who's the number 1 team in 2A, 44-32, the final score there. Lady Trojans avenge a loss to the Panthers from last month. Now these two teams share the 2024-25 CNC League Championship. This is the final regular season game for both of these squads. Sub-state tournaments get started on Thursday. And once again, we've got some news on the Travis Kelce front at the NFL Scouting Combine in Indy. Chiefs General Manager Brett Veach and head coach Andy Reid, both of them explain their thoughts on whether or not they'll see their star tight end return next season.
How we left at the end of the season is that he was fired up. He has 1 more year under contract, and still think he has that fire and desire to play. And as far as I'm concerned, there is no deadline. I think we left it as he'd be back, and we're excited to get him back and get him going. At this point, you get out of town and relax. You know, that's kind of
my motto for these guys. They played a lot of games and a lot of, for a consistent amount of seasons here. And so you get to the end of the thing, you've exhausted yourself mentally and physically. Step back and take care of that, then we'll talk.
Back to high school basketball. A couple more teams in Kansas who win league championships tonight. Cherryvale girls, they win the league championships. That's the first time in school history that they've done so.
Really?
And then Fort Scott girls basketball, kind of the opposite end of the spectrum. They've won the SEK League 3 years in a row after winning tonight.
All right, well, congratulations to both of them as well. That's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this. Well, California-based company Aleph Aeronautics believe they are one step closer to making flying cars a reality. The company has released video showing an ultralight version of the Aleph Model 0 taking off vertically and traveling over a parked truck. Doesn't seem to be moving too fast, though. Aleph's CEO says the car is not yet in the manufacturing stage, but anticipates the cost will be the same as similar-sized cars. No word yet on when the project will take off for the public. It is kind of cool looking, though.
I think it's freaking stupid. It really is. I mean, we're so close to just all these self cars on the roads. You don't have to worry about wrecks. We can't even control drones.
Just the cost of maintaining the roads, you wouldn't even have to do that. I don't know.
I think John and I are on the same page
You
here.
wouldn't have to worry about the weather. You could just go, maybe.
I want to worry about the weather. That's what I like to do. Talking about the weather, cooler for us tomorrow, but still pretty good. 61 for a high. Couple random sprinkles, random shower. Back near 70 on Friday.
All right, final sports note.
The Missouri Tigers men's basketball team, they win by 30 tonight. That's their largest SEC win in a decade.
A flying car would be a cool way to bring a sports team in,
Yeah, you need a lot of them.
Yeah. Or go by plane. Yeah. Thanks for watching. We're going to see you Wednesday. Have a great evening and an even better tomorrow.